Good morning and welcome to today's morning mobility session. This, as always, is 20 to 30 minutes of gentle mobility designed for seniors, but open to anyone who wants to loosen up their body, get the blood flowing, and prepare yourself either for the day or for a workout. So all you need for today's session is some space, a yoga mat or comfy floor situation to lie on, and maybe a wall to hold on to for balance or a chair, something like that. So we'll go ahead and get started. Our first mobility exercise today is going to be a torso twist with our hands in this behind the head position. So just standing with our feet hip distance apart, nice and tall. I'm going to rotate to the side and taking my time, really controlling the movement, rotating to the other side. So I'm doing a nice twist, keeping the elbows open. I'm not pulling on my head. My hands are just gently resting on the back of my head. Keeping a nice tall torso position. Going from one side to the other. We'll do this for one more time on each side. And then rest. Very good. For our second exercise, we're going to do a wrist mobility exercise, sometimes a underutilized area to do mobility. Starting with hands just right here. I'm going to curl my wrists in, out, and then away from me and towards me. In, out, away from me, and towards me. In, out, away, and towards. Taking your time, you're always welcome to go at your own pace, or you can stay right on track with me. But the most important thing is just that you're not going too quick. You're taking your time, controlling that movement. Last one of each. In, out, and forwards and backwards. Very good. Alrighty. And then our third one is where we're going to use a little bit of that wall support if you need it. And so just gently resting your hands on something for balance. I'm going to keep one leg on the ground and I'm going to lift the other leg up, out to the side, and then straighten it down. Up, out to the side, and straighten it back down. This is working our hip mobility as we keep this movement controlled. Nice tall torso. If you can only bring your knee up maybe half as far as I do, that's totally okay. Just lift whatever amount is comfortable. We'll do one more on this side. And then rest and turn and we'll get the other side. So again, nice and tall, raising that knee up, bringing directly out to your side, lowering down in a nice smooth motion. If you ever need to rest your leg on the ground for a second before starting the next one, feel free. Staying nice and tall, your core helps support this position. Really smooth movements, making sure you're not rushing through this. That usually makes mobility easier. What makes it a little harder and helps us get more out of it is really controlled, slow movements. One more. And rest. Very good. Alrighty, so per usual, we're going to do 2 times with each circuit. So going back to the top with that prisoner hands twist. So hands behind the head, feet shoulder width apart. And then when you're ready, rotating, let your eyes just follow the movement of your head. And see if now that you're warmed up, you feel like maybe you can twist a little bit farther or just stay in a nice, small, comfortable range of motion. Whatever feels good for you and your body today. And again, nice controlled movement. Focusing on your breathing for this one, making sure you get a nice inhale and full exhale. This is our last one for each side. And rest. Very good. Alrighty. Then our second one, our wrist movements. Just holding your hands right about here. In, out, forwards, and back. In, out, forwards, back. In, out, forwards, back. And so especially for me and most of us, it's that forward-backward motion that we don't often do for the wrists. We might do wrist circles, or we might move our wrists that in and out, this part, but it's that lateral movement that with a lot of our joints is really helpful to get. Good. Last one of each. Very good. Alrighty, and then we'll go on to that third exercise, our hip mobility. A little support on the wall, nice and tall, bringing that leg out to the side and down. It's kind of like a semicircle motion. Try to make sure when you're doing this that you don't shift really far into the wall. Try to keep your hip and your shoulder all stacked in a line over that foot that's on the ground. So nice and tall, not compensating anywhere. And what you can do to modify is just don't lift that knee up as high if you need to. Last one. And rest. Very good. And then switching sides, standing tall. Make sure to breathe. Bringing that leg out and really smooth motion down. Knee up, out, straightening the leg. Up, out, straightening. Two more. Very good. Last one. And rest. Wonderful. Just like that, we're done with our first circuit. And so we're moving onto the floor for our second circuit. So make your way down there. Try to have a comfortable space to work with. And our first one is going to start in a hands and knees position. Hands right under shoulders, knees right under hips. And then I'm going to take my foot and place it out to the side so my foot is in line with my knee, with my toe pointing this direction towards the camera. And then I'm going to open this hand up to the ceiling and then reach underneath the other arm. So kind of like a thread the needle if you're familiar from yoga, opening up at the top, just reaching the fingertips to point at the ceiling and going underneath. Again, taking your time with this one, not rushing through, trying to get that full range of motion for each exercise. Make sure with the arm that's on the ground, you're lifting out of that shoulder, not collapsing into it. We've got one more. And rest. Good. Then bring that knee down. Other foot lifts, toes point out to the side. And then we're going to open up, fingertips pointing at the ceiling. We're not bringing the arm all the way back. And then reach underneath. Opening up, reaching through. Maybe inhaling as you lift up, exhaling as you reach down. Up and reach. Inhale and exhale. We've got two more. Up. Lengthen through that reach. Last one. Up and reach. Very good. All right, you'll stay at the ground. Just looking for our next exercise is going to be a hip mobility. So for this one, we're going to use your hands behind you to support yourself and have your feet just wide and bent with your heels quite a bit away from your body. My legs are about 90 degrees at the knee. Then staying tall, I'm going to drop my knees over to the side as far as is comfortable. You might make it halfway to the ground. You might make it all the way to the ground like me. If it feels a little easy, you can scoot the feet in towards you just a little bit. And our goal is to keep the feet where they are. We're not lifting them or moving them around. We're just dropping the knees, coming back to that flat foot, dropping the knees, and coming back to that flat foot. Nice and controlled movement. A little hip internal and external rotation. We'll do a last one here, side and other side. Very good. Ready. Then for our last one, we're going to be in a seated position with one knee tucked. If you needed some back support, you could have your back resting against a wall or a really sturdy chair. So feel free to do that if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to kind of hold on to this knee to anchor us, and we're doing an ankle point and flex for some ankle mobility. Really trying to pull that toe back towards your shin, and then pointing and kind of even curling your foot as much as you can as you point. Especially if you're barefoot in a shoe, just point that foot as hard as you can. Flex, point, and flex. We'll do two more, point, and pull the toes back. Last one, point, and pull. Very good. Switch your knees. We'll hit that other side. And going at your own speed, point, and flex. This is one where intention really matters. If you really think about pointing as far as you can and pulling back, you can even get a little calf stretch in that flexed position. That's a great sign that you're really pulling the ankle through its full mobility. So a little bit of a stretch on the top of the ankle, a little bit of a stretch on the calf. Last one, point and flex. Very nice. Alrighty, that is our first round done. So we'll go into our second time repeating through all of these exercises. Giving you a moment to get into that hands and knees position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. I'll move to the side so you can see this foot in line with the knee, toes pointing to the outward direction. Starting with that hand opening up and reaching through. Open up and reach through. Maybe inhale and exhale. We'll do 3 more at your own pace. 2 and 1. Rest. Good. Pass back through that tabletop position. And then other leg goes out to the side. Arm starts up at the ceiling. And then when you're ready, reach through and open up on that second side. Maybe a little shoulder blade squeeze at the top for a little bit of extra range of motion, a little bit of posture. Nice to always think about opening the chest, pulling the shoulder blades together anytime when you're working on that chest and shoulder mobility. We've got 2 more. Reach and lengthen. Last one, reach up and reach through. Wonderful. Alrighty. And then we're finding our way back into that seated position. Again, if you need a little bit of wall support for your back on this one, feel free. Otherwise, feet are flat on the floor. Hands are supporting yourself behind you. And then we are dropping the knees down and passing through the center. Good. Maybe trying bringing your heels a little bit closer in towards your body if that feels okay. Again, if your knees maybe only lower about this far, that's also totally fine. That's working what your hip internal and external rotation is at the moment. So it's good to practice whatever range of motion you've got, and then seeing if over time you notice that, hey, my knees can get a little bit closer to the ground. So with mobility, it's that consistent, frequent repetition that really gets us the best results. Last one for each. Drop and drop. Very nice. And then returning to that seated position with one leg tucked in. Again, wall support for your back if you need it, or hold on to this leg here. And then when you're ready, we are taking that leg for a point and flex at the ankle. Point and flex. So next week, our mobility session is going to be a chair mobility session. So if there's anyone in your life that would interest, feel free to invite them to do this with you or share it with them afterwards. So you'll need a folding chair, dining chair, just something sturdy if you're joining us next week. Last one after this, point and flex. Good. Give your legs a switch, nice and tall. Make sure you're not rounding too much at the upper back. And then when you're ready, pointing and flexing. Really good opportunity to notice any differences between the ankles. If it feels a little bit easier on one side versus the other, it's totally normal, but could be a good reason to give that side that feels harder a little bit of extra attention throughout the week, adding in a few more of these on whichever side you feel like needs it a little bit more. We've got two more, point and flex. Last one, point and flex. Very nice. Alrighty, that wraps up the floor portion. So take a moment, get comfortable, and come back up to our standing position. We start with another exercise that's a little bit ankle focused, but in a totally different way. We're going to have a split stance. So if for you, holding on to balance for that makes it a little bit easier, feel free. But we are going to rock from one foot to the other. So if I start with my back heel lifted, front foot down, I'm then going to reverse it, back foot down, front toe lifted. Rocking from one foot to the other. Lift the toes, lift the heel. Lift the toes, lift the heel. Maybe if you want, you work on balance a little bit while doing this, but totally okay to not and to use a little balance. Last one. Good. And then we'll switch. You can turn and face the other way if you want, or stay facing the same direction. Again, starting your stacker stance doesn't have to be very big, just your other foot about a foot back behind the heel. Front foot down, back heel lifted, and then start that rocking motion. Front toe lifts, back heel lifts, front toe lifts, back heel lifts. A tiny bit of coordination, maybe giving yourself a moment to assess balance. Back heel lifts, front toe lifts, two more times. And last one. And rest. Very good. All right, second one, we're going to do a bit of a chest opener. We're going to start with your hands forward like this, hips or feet just hip distance apart. And then we're going to bring our hands up and back, and then up to the start. So it's up and out to the side, up and back to the front. Up and to your sides or slightly behind you if you have the range of motion. Front and to the sides. Lift and lift. Good. We'll do one more. Lift, hands out to the side. Lift and rest. Very good. And then our last one is going to be alternating knee hugs. So for this one, recommend being near a wall or something for a bit of balance support unless you know that you have very good balance. And then you're going to bring one leg in, give it a little tug, other side in, give it a little tug. You could certainly do this away from the wall, but for a lot of people, I know being on the wall for this one is just a nice little bit of support. Just a gentle tug. Doesn't have to be very high at all. Just meet your body where it's at. Maybe you can barely wrap your fingertips around it. Maybe you can give it a full hug. This is for you to adjust to whatever your body needs. Last one for each side. And rest. Very good. Alrighty, we'll go through one more round and then you'll be finished. So first is that rocking motion from our staggered stance, holding on for balance if you want, back heel lifted, and then start that rocking motion. Again, working on your balance is optional, can totally hold on. You just got your ankles really ready for this one, so keep working that point and flex as you lift the heel and then lift the toe. Two more. Good. Last one, forward and back. Very nice. Take a moment and get set for that other side. And then when you're ready, rocking backward and forward. Things that if you are working on your balance always help are a focal point, keeping a little tension in your core, and thinking nose over toes in that forward position. Two more. One more. And rest. Very nice. Alrighty, two things left. We've got that chest opener, starting with your hands here, lifting up, bringing the arms out, lifting up, and bringing the arms back. Reach out to the side, reach, shoulders away from ears. Shoulders can come up towards ears as the arms go up, and then make sure to bring them down with you as the hands come back down. Reach down, reach down. Last one right here. Reach down, reach, and rest. Very good. Alrighty, and then that last one is going to be our alternating knee hugs. Again, resting against a wall if you like. If you're feeling a little bit crazy, feel free to try shifting your weight from side to side. Just a gentle tug on each side. And so, especially with these last ones that worked on balance a little bit, hopefully you're feeling a little bit woken up and ready to face the day. Maybe heading into a cardio or a strength session. If you ever need any programs or support with your exercise outside of these mobility classes, feel free to reach out on my Instagram account of HelloStrengthSeniors or leave a comment and I'll be able to find you. We'll do one more of these on each side. Last one. and rest. Very good. Well, I hope that felt wonderful. Should feel proud of getting in that 25 minutes of movement to start off your day. If you enjoyed this class, please share it with a friend. And remember, next week, if you're joining us live, make sure to grab a chair or something to sit on that's really nice and comfortable. So hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week.